If you're a studio owner who struggles with sales, so whenever you get new students coming in and it's time to ask them to enroll, you get uncomfortable, you get shy, you get nervous, you feel like you don't want to put pressure on people to sign up. You even worse, you might feel like asking people to sign up and pay is kind of like something that makes you feel bad because you feel like you're taking from other people and you're becoming richer, they're becoming poorer. You feel like a taker anytime it's time to ask for the sale. In this video, I'm going to share with you a mindset shift that is going to help you get over this feeling of discomfort whenever it's time to ask for a sale. Or if you have an employee that works at your studio who's struggling with this, who's struggling asking people to enroll at your studio, then you might want to have them watch this video. My name is Hervin Alvarez. We own a company called Get More Students where we help dance studio owners with increasing enrollment, saving time, reducing workload, and we do that through the use of automation and marketing. If you're a studio owner looking to grow your dance studio, subscribe to the YouTube channel. So right now we're working with over 200 studios, and what I'm doing is I am taking all of the lessons that I'm learning from working with so many studio owners and I'm bringing them over here for free in this YouTube channel. So again, if you're looking to grow, subscribe. Okay, so let me give you some background. I know this feeling well of not wanting to ask people to enroll because I didn't want, or just feeling uncomfortable asking people to hand you cash for your classes. If this has ever happened to you, if you've had this feeling, I mean, it's something that you can get over. It's something that is still to this day, like I'm not fully over. I'm not like one of those salespeople who's just like aggressive, get the sale no matter what. Who's pushy, who's like, I tend to think of those people kind of like slimy salespeople or something like that, where they're like aggressive, pushy, put a lot of pressure on people. I never liked that. But I did learn a couple of things that helped me reframe my mindset around sales. So one of the things that I used to feel back when I was a dance instructor for so many years, for like 5 years, I felt this way, was the fact that when somebody was paying for my dance classes, I would feel like I was taking money away from them and I was becoming like, if I were to take $10 from them, I would be $10 richer. They were $10 poorer. That's kind of how I saw it. I thought of it as, they're not paying me, I'm taking from them. And I hated feeling that way. And so for 5 years, I used to struggle as a dance instructor making any money. I was making barely any money. I had to live like very, very frugally just because I wasn't making any money. And it all stemmed from the fact that I had this negative relationship around money. And I stayed working at a dance studio where I know I could have been making way more just going out there by myself, but I didn't have it in me. Because this studio had a front desk person who was working there who was in charge of asking people to enroll. And to me, I always felt like, I get so much joy out of teaching, out of dancing. And so it's something that I could do for free. So I felt guilty asking people to pay me when I knew there were people out there breaking their backs, working jobs and working at places they hated. And here was me like enjoying every single minute of teaching and dancing. And so I felt bad charging. So here's the mindset shift, right? So whenever you think of charging people for your classes as taking, what that says is what's like, it's kind of like a mirror. If you think about it, it's reflecting back what you think, because it's not that person saying to you, hey, don't take from me. They actually want to pay you. They want to pay to keep coming back because they're enjoying your classes, but it's actually you who feels bad about it, right? And so the fact that it's on you, you're feeling bad about it, it just says more about you, right? And so what does that say about you? Like internally, if you ask yourself, like, why do I feel bad about asking people for money? And so at least for me, I grew up, money was always an issue around the house. There was always causing stress in the family. Growing up saw all of my family in debt. Like even till this day, a lot of them are still in debt. None of them have the money living with their finances or their finances are not in order. They don't have their finances under control. And so I always saw money kind of like this like scarce thing, this thing that was hard to get. It was very difficult. And so I kind of saw it like that, and living, eventually going out on my own and not making much money just even further cemented that idea in my head that money was just something scarce. Money was not easy to come around. And so what made me think is that there's only a limited amount of money. And so I'm taking from people. I felt that way. So other people must feel that way too, right? And it is not true. But that's how at least I felt it. The fact that you feel that money is a scarce thing doesn't mean that other people don't want to pay for your dance classes. Now let me move this even further. So if you're feeling that money is a scarce thing, you got to check yourself. Why do you feel that way? Why do I feel like, why am I so tight around money? Why do I have this like bad relationship? I would call that a bad relationship around money. I wouldn't say like, you feel that money is easy to come, or you feel like you have to work just extremely hard for your money. You have to, do something that you don't enjoy. You have to grind it out in order to feel okay making money. And that's just a bad mentality to have, because, why do people, ask yourself this, why do people even pay for it? Why would anybody pay for a dance class? And the reason is because they get value out of it. Okay. So I want you to think of this concept, value. What does that even mean? What is value? Right. So why do people pay not just for dance classes, but for stuff in general? Like, why do you pay for a pair of really expensive shoes, or why do you pay for expensive clothing, or why do you pay to watch a movie? Because it brings value to you. So value, it's kind of like this subjective thing. It's not really like a concrete thing. It just means like something that you enjoy, something that you find useful, something that might be beneficial to you, just something that you, find valuable. Okay. And so what is the value that people are getting from joining your dance studio? Okay. So if you have a dance student, if you're teaching kids, they are growing up in an environment that is structured. They're learning to play with other children. They're learning to socialize. The parents are getting me time. They're getting to be around other caring teachers, staff members. They're growing up in an environment where the parents can feel safe, that their kids are in a good place. So all these things are valuable. The skills they learn, besides dancing and besides the steps that they're learning at your studio, they're learning discipline, they're learning to focus, they're gaining flexibility. It's a healthy activity. All of these reasons make your dance classes, besides the fact that they're learning to dance, it makes this valuable. Okay, if you own a dance studio for adults, like in my case, I used to own a dance studio where we used to teach salsa dance classes for adults. And I always used to think that the reason why people would pay to join our dance studio, it's because I was a good teacher and I was teaching them dance steps that were good. And that's not the reason why people would join my studio. Eventually, I realized that it wasn't even because of the dancing. Yes, they might wanted to learn how to dance. They might feel like they wanted to learn how to dance, but the reason really why they were there, they were craving social interactions with other adults. They wanted to make friends. They wanted to get exercise. They wanted to get exercise and they didn't want to go to the gym. They felt like dancing was more fun. They got to be a part of a community. This was the fun thing that they had to look forward to all week. And so the fact that like this was the thing they were doing, and so that and even gave them purpose, that's way more worth than just the $10, $20, $30 that we're paying to be there. Okay. And so if you feel bad about charging somebody for your classes, it's because in your head you're taking money. Yes, they're losing the $10 they're paying you. Yes, that's true. You are making money. You're gaining $10. They're losing $10. But you, in exchange, are providing them value. That's the part that I was missing. That's the part that I did not see in my brain. It's the part where once they paid, I would literally lose my time, and they would get me, and I would then like spend time trying to teach them, right? And so I was also losing something. I was losing my time. Or, if you own the dance studio, you're paying your teachers to be there. They're losing their time. Their time is more valuable than the $10. And so, yeah, and also it's not just a matter of time, right? It's a matter, again, it's what they get, the value they get. So the more value you can provide, the better, the more comfortable you will feel charging. So what do I mean by that? So let's think about it this way. If you had, let's say for $10, they get to come in and take a group class. You feel that like that's fair, right? But now let's say you add more value. You feel like for $10, you get to give them a class, but on top of that, like they stay for an hour extra where you give them like, you clean their car. And so they not only get they get the dance class, but they also get their car cleaned. Like, how much extra value is that? Now, let's say on top of that, like, the kid comes into your studio and you help them with their homework, and on top of that, like, you tutor them, you clean their car, and you teach them dance. You see, like, at some point you're gonna be like, wait a minute, like, I'm giving way too much for this $10. Like, at that point, you don't even feel bad about asking for $10 because you're providing so much more value. Well, you're already providing value, enough value, just by teaching and just by the classes that you have going on. You're already providing value. That is what I was not seeing back when I was afraid of asking people to pay me for my classes, back when I felt uncomfortable, back when I felt like I was taking. You're not just taking, you're also providing value. That's the whole point. That's the reason why people come in the first place, because they want to learn to dance, and because they want to be, parents want to be around other parents. They want to network with other parents. They want to see their kids smile. They want their kids to learn discipline, focus. They want their kids to learn how to socialize. Those are all valuable things. And until you're able to see that you're not just taking from people, you're also providing value, that's where that mindset shift happens. And then you're able to charge, you're able to feel more comfortable asking people to pay. Okay, so that's what made the change for me. It's just starting to see. And every now and again, I would, I have to train myself, because every once in a while, I catch myself thinking like, oh, I don't want to charge this person. They don't have so much. Well, the reality is, it's not about what they have. It's about how much you're providing, right? If you feel like you're providing all the value there is, like if you're providing way more value than they're paying you for, then you feel more comfortable. That's the key. You gotta feel like you're providing much more value than you're taking. When you start to feel bad is when you feel like you're taking more money than the value that you're providing. That's when you start to feel bad. So you gotta train your brain to see the fact that you're providing this value. And also, whenever you purchase anything, also train yourself to feel like, oh wow, I'm getting this value that I'm paying for. I'm getting more than I'm paying for here. That's start training your brain to not just see the money that you're losing, but the value that you're gaining. So that way, when it comes time for you to sell, you'll sell with conviction, because you know that you're providing value. And that's ultimately what it is. And so if you're struggling with sales, it's usually something internally, whether you feel like the value that you're providing is not there, you feel like you're taking more than you're providing, or you're just not even seeing the fact that you're actually providing a valuable service. And so you got to train your mind to see those things. And then also, you want to be careful not to think like anytime you're like, you go to a store and you somehow like manage to trick somebody in the store, and you manage to buy something that was worth more for less, and you feel like, oh, got them. Like I took more value for less. That you start training your brain again. You start training your brain in terms of scarcity. You feel like, oh, I only have a little bit of money and I got more for my money. Reality is you got to train your brain to see the value. That way you're going to be more comfortable when it's time to ask for the sale at your studio. I know we just went really deep in here, but this is usually why people even struggle with sales. Less than the tactics itself. If you're curious about what kind of tactics, sales strategies you can use at your studio to make it easier to make more sales, there's a YouTube video I just created prior to creating this video that you can go check out on our YouTube channel. Should be out by the time you watch this. But yeah, I mean, it's more of a mindset shift that is going to help you make more sales. Okay, so if you found this video valuable, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share this video with anybody you think might find it useful, with any of your peers, any employee that you might have, and then yeah, I mean, if you have any questions or anything, leave me some questions down below. If you have any topics that you would like me to talk about, leave them down below. Check out the rest of the videos. If you're curious about how we can help you grow your studio, then go to getmorestudents.com and click on that button that says Let's Talk, and we can talk to you about how we can help you increase your enrollment, save time, reduce workload through the use of marketing, advertising, automation. And so, yeah, awesome. I hope you found this valuable. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.